Hey guys, just gonna go over this case and build real quick. You've seen the B-roll already. This is an Antec Cannon. By default, it comes in a kind of a greenish gray. I wasn't too big of a fan of the original color, which is why I painted it. By default, it's greenish gray, like I said, and it's all black. This case has no rivets, so you can take it apart completely. And the way it's designed is you have your motherboard in one side and you can mount this GPU either here or in the front. They include a bracket for the front, or you can move the bracket here and mount your GPU there. It's kind of a water cooling case because it supports a radiator in the back, either 420 or 360. It's You can mount a reservoir here. You can mount a 360 radiator in the front, and you can mount two more 360 radiators on the back. So it has very strong water cooling support. Obviously, it's an open air case design. All your kind of wiring goes in between the gap here, and that's kind of how you cable manage. And of course, you're going to have some cables down here. So with that said, I'm going to go into what I did in this build. All right, so obviously, first of all, I painted the case. Okay, so I kind of went for this two-tone light gray and gloss red. So this is like a satin light gray. It's called Lunar Surface, and the red is a gloss. I don't remember what it's called. But this is a Fantex 4090 block. You guys have seen it on my channel. And in terms of the motherboard, this is a Z690 Formula. For those that don't know, there is an issue with this board in terms of the VRM heatsink being nickel-plated aluminum rather than copper. For some folks, that is going to be an issue. Well, that actually is an issue of mixing metals. But in my case, I took it apart. I didn't see any exposed aluminum areas. It was good coverage. So I felt it's okay to risk it. But I would say if you're trying to play it safe and you have this motherboard, contact ASUS. They can give you a copper replacement or they can buy the board back from you. Okay. But I already had the EK bridge. So you'll notice mine has a carbon fiber inside simply because I took it apart and then I wrapped that plate. That plate doesn't come in contact with any fluid, therefore it's safe to wrap the plate. All right. So obviously my formula is no longer white. I took it apart to paint the red. You void your warranty, obviously. I would say if you have a formula and you want to paint it, if you want to maintain the RGB on the letters here, you will have to separate these pieces of plastic and metal. There's a lot of glue, it's a lot of heat gunning, and it's not fun. It's not a fun process to take it apart. And then make sure if you're painting a motherboard, always sand the plastic or the metal because it's super smooth and even a primer may not stick. So for some of these pieces, I just sanded it and it still wasn't good enough. I still had to use a primer. So getting it to all come out red okay was actually not as easy as I expected it to be. Um, Over here, that's just I cut out the raw guy to kind of trace the original raw guy design of the motherboard. Too bad, it's mostly all covered by the GPU, but it is what it is. Um, Obviously, I have some matte carbon fiber wrap, like on here. I have some shinier carbon fiber bits up here. I don't know how well it comes up across on camera. And on the back, what I've done is I designed and then I 3D printed a PSU cover. That's this down here. Because if you don't cover it's very exposed here. So if you don't cover it out, I don't know if I can raise the brightness, but there we go. If you don't cover the kind of connections you have going to PSU here, it's going to look kind of messy. I could have extended it all the way out some more. Unfortunately, this is the max Z height for my 3D printer, but it is what it is. This effect is done by using kind of like a thinner vinyl, and then obviously when it's lit up from behind, it glows. So this is why this raw guy looks like it's glowing. Okay, for those that have wondered. The fans, these are Inwin Saturn fans. I'm a huge fan of them. I've also removed the original logo. I replaced it with a carbon fiber red logo that kind of looks like the original one, and that's what the logo is. Okay, so for cooling, I have a 360 PE. I have a 420 CE, I think it's called CE, right? I don't remember. These are the older EK rads. Given that it's an all air system, I figured hot air and all in the middle, front kind of blows the hot air up. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, but you know, it is what it is. Other than that, this is, oh yeah, by the way, this is one of the cable mod 4090, 4080 cables that only use two 8-pins. It's fairly new to their shop, but they work just as well as the 4-8-pin. You don't have all that mess either. So if you have a good power supply, you can definitely use these instead of the split to 3, split to 4. All right. And some notes about the case. This case is about $400. I don't think it's worth the money, but it's a very niche case, right? Because obviously they're not selling high volume due to the pricing. And obviously, you know, when you have no rivets and everything's aluminum, you're also raising the cost. So I think I've seen some reviews on it, but generally, if you want a water cooling open air case, this is the case. I think it's a very good case, but you will have some issues with, you know, running cables cleanly without spending significant good amount of time kind of doing cable management in between. So I would say plan your cable management. When you build this case, you're gonna have to kind of take it apart just to make sure you can get stuff in the middle, right? As you can see, once it's together, there's really no way for you to run wires. Unless you want to play that fishing game. So plan out your wiring when you're building in this case ahead of time. That's pretty much the one piece of advice I can give. So yeah, so that pretty much sums it up for this build. This will be, I don't know, HTPC or something. I'll probably keep it around for a bit, given that, you know, that motherboard is not going anywhere since I painted it, right? But yeah, so other than this, the next build I'll be working on is the V3000 Plus. It's the white one. It's the one that is the GGF LAN edition. For you guys that don't, I mean, if you're watching my channel, you definitely should be watching Stuart's channel. He does like extremely clean water cooling systems. He's got loads of them, and that is the next build. Also, slight update. I do have my CNC now. I'm getting it up and going. So once I get that up and going, and assuming I get my tool pass down and everything like that, you will definitely see some much more crazy and unique stuff coming out of here. I've been wanting one for quite some time. I just didn't have the space till now. And I know Fusion okay, so I'm okay with the CAD. It's the CAM part that's going to be the hard part. But with that said, thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.